social media platform Blue Sky, a competitor to X, has gained millions of followers in the weeks following the presidential election. According to Blue Sky, its traffic is up over 500% since November 5th, a trend due in part to dissatisfied liberals leaving the Elon Musk-owned X platform. Let's bring in MSNBC contributor Pablo Torre, who is discussing Blue Sky and X on the latest episode of his podcast, Pablo Torre Finds Out, on Meadowlark Media.
So Pablo, explain something to me.
Yes.
So why is it
somebody made a fake account?
So Threads,
oh, yeah,
there are a lot of fake accounts going on out there.
Many such accounts.
Threads was supposed to be the replacement for X.
Sure.
And I don't really understand. Even though I went on Threads, tried it, and for some reason I wasn't getting the news feed. This was a year ago that I was still getting on X a year. I've since given up on X.
Oh.
But why didn't Threads work, and why is Blue Sky now necessary? Because Threads didn't work.
So Joe, first off, I am available for tech support.
Oh,
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just let me know if for some reason the settings are off. I'm here to help.
Yeah.
But seriously, what happens periodically is that, you're familiar with spring football leagues,
right.
the XFL, the USFL.
Right.
Periodically, there are attempts to form the equivalent of a spring football league of social media.
Right.
And so this is Mastodon, this is Blue Sky, this is Threads. And so it's an attempt to siphon off the
but
intensity.
I'm asking you specifically, though.
So why didn't Threads work?
Why was Threads the USFL of online media?
So Twitter's origin story is fascinating to me because it involves a saturation of media and celebrity that created this impression that if you get into your phone and log onto this platform, you can talk to Shaquille O'Neal. You can talk to the president. And Threads never replicated that idea of the world's grandest cocktail party where you had access directly to people that you were otherwise always very far away from. But the media component of it to me is also incredibly crucial here, and it leads me to why I've been experimenting with Blue Sky, frankly, despite knowing that it has some XFL vibes. It's because Twitter became the place where you got your news. So the RSS feed as a concept, I used to subscribe to something called Google Reader, and God bless anybody who remembers Google Reader. But it was a place where you could get the New York Times and CNN, the Washington Post, and the New Republic, and go on and on and on across the political spectrum. And that's what Twitter's promise was. It was the place where you could get information.
Can we just say, really, as far as information goes, Twitter always has been a very, very rough place, right? That said, you get your news feed right, and Willie and I have talked about this. Me and I have talked about
fixed.
that. If you got it right, let's say 5-6 years ago, I could go in there, and in 10 minutes, I knew what was going on. And then I'd go to the Times and read all the other stuff. It was pretty remarkable, even though it's always been. People are like, oh, it's an ugly place. It's always been
variously miserable. And I loved it, of course, because I watched sports with the world. It was live. It was a place to talk about the games I cover. But the thing that Elon did, this is an Elon story to me. This is not a story as much as it is framed as liberals don't want to talk to conservatives anymore. There was certainly some of that on Blue Sky, certainly, and the Exodus. But to me, it's because Elon Musk has put his thumb on the scale of curating what we're all seeing. And so to the point of clicking on links, something Elon did was he suppressed any post that had a URL, a hyperlink that left X. So any article got
So the very thing that made Twitter so valuable. Now let's talk about Blue Sky. Does Blue Sky have a chance to be what Threads wanted to be, and that is the alternative, the Pepsi to Coke?
So it is free of the incentive structure that Elon has instituted. And so it's not merely the suppression of links. It's also the fact that Elon did something crucial. He installed the ability to monetize individual tweets based on engagement. And so what this was a siren, a lamp for every scammer moth to come into Twitter and say, hey, my way of making actual literal money is to troll is to spread misinformation in a literal sense, to create anonymous accounts that would actually psychologically provoke response.
This is very important
by the way,
though, that's a money story.
Let's talk about, by the way, it's horrible.
Blue Sky doesn't have that.
It's horrible there. I know he needs some money. It's horrible there, but I will say also Instagram, the algorithms also are to provoke. It's all to provoke. People want to know why social media depresses, because
also
the
true.
algorithms are meant to make you angry, to provoke, to get you clicking, and that's how they make their money.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Oh, there is a bit of a tilting at a windmill phenomenon here.
Right.
We're trying to find the best, we're trying to make a safer cigarette.
Right.
In a sense.
So does Blue Sky have a shot of succeeding?
Beautifully put.
It has a shot because without Elon's thumb on the scale, I'm getting the sense that I can actually maybe talk to people, talk to my conservative friends, read the thoughts of people as opposed to reading.
And get realistic feedback.
They're clickbait farming. They're engagement farming over on Twitter.
You know what I love so much about
no feedback.
About Twitter, even though, again, it's always been a rough place.
Oh, sure.
So let's not pretend if you go into a cage like
we're not underneath the olive tree in Athens.
That said, though, I could watch a Red Sox game, and I could tweet out, "Oh my God, what a great double play!" And I could look at responses, and people that love the Red Sox would be there.
Humans.
If I talked about, hey, I listened to Frampton Comes Alive front to back for the first time in 30 years. Here's my take 30 years later. Could get a response. I mean, we need a place like that where people can talk and just have great dialogue.
Town square. Look, to me, Twitter would be perfect. Given the alternatives, I would still use it as much as I used to if Elon just wasn't there. It's like he moved into my phone, and now I have to leave.
Okay.
Joe, I wish we could have discourse. It's just not a place for feedback and discussion anymore. It's a place to be fooled into thinking that, oh, I clicked on an account that's actually a parody, and I've been scammed. It's a place for scammers now.
Yeah.